Hey guys, welcome back. This is tutorial number 12, part 2. Tonight we're going to continue building the menu cursor for the Final Fantasy Tactics menu that we were working on. And I was just getting into the logic of the cursor movement, making sure that it stays within its bounds. So we're going to go ahead and continue from there. As you can see, if you were watching tutorial number 1, I have already gone through and written the method. Now, I got, I got thinking about it, trying to decide how much effort I actually wanted to show as I was actually going through and trying to figure that formula out. The thing is that math is a huge part of programming. You're not going to avoid that. That's all there is to it. So you have to just understand a couple of key elements. Here we went through what I did to determine where the cursor needed to go. Was again that what we were going to do is we had to fetch the total number of rows. So we had to determine how many rows there really were, and then on that, how many people were on the final row. So once we have that data, then we determine what index or what position the cursor is on that row. So we said, give the 5 that we took from it back to the index, and by doing that we get our position. So with that we can go ahead and say, alright, well, we know that there are 3 on the final row, but again it's suspecting 3 is in as an index, so that's 0, 1, 2, 3, that's 4, so we have to minus 1 from it, and then we say is less than the current position. So what we're saying is that if I'm trying to push down and there is no one there, then what we need to do is just set it equal to the total or the max number of characters. In other words, to select the final character, because they're on the final row, but we don't know where at. So the next one here says, all right, well, being that there is someone there, we want to keep the position, as in that we actually still move directly up from where we are. Then what we're going to do is we're going to say, take the total number of rows and we're going to multiply that by 5, in other words, to get us to that final row, and then we're going to add what position we were in order to select that certain character. So let's just go ahead and test that and make sure. I've written it, I hope it works, but I haven't tested it yet, so we're going to talk to her. Okay, so here we can see our right and left, and now when I hit the left here, it jumps to the final character. When I hit the right, it jumps over here. If I come back down here and I hit up, it goes up. If I hit up again, it stays on that character. But if I come over here and I hit up, alright, it's doing what it's supposed to. It says if there is no character here, as in below them, or in the case that there are like 5 rows of characters, then there is no character in that position directly above this character, and in which case it should go to the final character, which is him. So looks like it's all working in that respect. Our down, however, still doesn't have the bounds set on it, so we need to do that. So here we can go ahead and say if down, and what we're going to do is we're going to do kind of this same thing as the up, because if you are, let's just go ahead and show it to you again here. So in this respect, we are looking at the characters. Here we've got our character. If I click down from here, it's not supposed to just go down. What it's supposed to do is jump to the next character that is selectable within that position below them. It's kind of the same thing that we're doing when we go up. It's just saying select the next selectable character on the row in which you are. So what we're going to do is we're just going to say, so it's automatically just going to do that if you add the index of 5. But if you add the index of 5 and that exceeds the total party members, then we just need to say set it equal to the total party members. Otherwise, then it doesn't matter. So let's see. Let's go ahead and determine a couple of things. So we can go ahead and say if index is greater than or equal to the total member party size, then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and set the number of rows and we'll say how many people are on the final row, and then we'll go ahead and determine the position. Okay? So with all of that, now we can go ahead and we can say, alright, now what row are you on right now? So what we're going to do is we're going to take, and first things first, we actually need to take and we have to minus the 5 from that we just gave it, so that we don't lose what position we're currently in. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Never mind. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and ask, in this case, what is the total number of rows, and if the row of the index is greater than the row of the total rows, then we're going to jump back to the very first row, as in the first set of characters. Otherwise, we're going to move it down and over to the first person. So let's see. Here we've got our row equals the game party max divided by 5, which is going to give us our total number of rows. Then we're going to say how many characters are on the final row, and then we determine the index, and then we need to say on row from row. Let's do that. From row equals the index minus 5. Okay, so, and then we're going to take that, we're going to divide that by 5. Okay, so that's going to give us what row we came from. So we can say if from row equals, and we'll go ahead and call this max row. Okay, so what we're saying is that if you're already on the final row, then jump back to the same position character on the top. So what we're going to say is we're going to say index equals to position. Okay? So let's see, is that right? Here we're adding, that's supposed to minus 5. There we go. That looks better. Alright, so next we're going to say, alright, well if it's not that, then is the, if the frame row, did I put a frame row? I did. Stupid spelling errors. Alright, is less than max row, then here's where we go back to this logic here. So we'll just copy that, put that down here. Okay. And if we exceed it, then what we're going to do is we're going to go in this case. Let's see. Yeah, if we're going down and it's not the final row, then we're going to push them over. If it is the final row, then we're going to determine who is the character in that position. And I think that handles it. Okay, so that should be it. Yeah. So let's just go ahead and test that. Alright, we're going to hit down, we go down, we hit down again, and it disappeared off of the screen altogether. Ah, it blew up. It's looking for rows, which was here. I'll take that and set that here. Alright, let's see. Let's try to figure this out. From row equals max row, then go ahead and set it equal to the position, which isn't right, isn't it? Let's see, from now max row is less than, then determine how many people are on the last one. If it's less than the position, then set done. I think all of that code is accurate, so we're not going to bother touching that. It's in this. We can't just have else on that. It has to be an else if. And let's see, if it is equal to, what if it is above? That's what we don't have covered. Else if from row greater than max row. We'll just say index equals 0 to catch it for now and see if that's really what's happening. Alright, it's setting it into oblivion somewhere. Alright, it looks like it's taking it and it's moving it to a really negative value. Sorry about this, guys. This is the joys of programming. Alright, so let's go back here. We're just going to kill this logic. We'll rewrite it. Just make sure we've got this all right here. So, we're coming from this row. We're going down. In which case we're going to divide it. This is going to be the row that we are currently on, and this is the total number of rows in which we can go to. If the from, I don't know why I keep on typing frame row, or I'm sorry, from row is less than the max row, then we want to move you to the max row using this same previously determined logic. Okay, so that looks accurate, and yes. Let's mod that by 5 just because, just to be sure. Alright. Yep, that's right. Did I not get that up here? Yeah, anyways. Okay, so here we've got our index row times by 5. All of that should be good. Okay, here's our else case. This is when it doesn't, or when we are coming from the same one, in which case we'll say index is equal to position. Yep. And actually, since we're just adding 5, I don't even think we need to worry about that. All we have to do is just say index mod 5. Okay, let's try this out. Okay, initial down. Ooh, it's looking like it works. There we go. Okay, so that's the logic I used. You can figure out your own logics for it. You know, I mean, this here is just whatever I plugged into it. If you wanted this to be, looking at some other variable as far as what the current value is, you'd have to pass that into it, or have some sort of global variable, or not necessarily a global variable, but a scene variable that you could access and read to determine what it should be updating off of. So let's go ahead and just take one more quick look at it here, and let's see. So now that we've got the cursor drawing, it's just jumping to that X and Y. But what if we actually want it to move between the X and Y? We want it to transition from point A to point B between those two instead of just magically appearing between them. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this up here. Let's see, where did it go? It is here in our menu cursor code right here where we've got our self X, self Y. So what we need to do is we need to create a couple new variables. We're going to call this AX for actual X, and we're going to just set that equals 2, and first off we're going to let it go ahead and do this up here. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and set AX equals to self.x in this case, and AY equals to self.y. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to copy this stuff back down here, and then we're going to set that AX and AY. Now, why do we do that? We do that because we don't want, so here this is just a force move, that's where you're going to be. Okay, this one here says, alright, well this is your new X and Y. So now what we need to do is we need to update the X and the Y to go to those places. Okay, so this here was the actual magic coordinates of where we need to be. So what we can do here is we can say if self.x not equals to AX, and if self.y not equal to AY, we'll keep them separate like that. That way there they can both update independently. Okay, so if the current X position is not equal to where we should be, then let's go there. So let's determine how many pixels we want to move per turn and try to get there. Okay, so let's go ahead and just put a max move, and we'll set that equals to 5, because that's just going to be how many maximum pixels we'll move per update. So what we'll do is we'll say, so where we need to be is AX, so we need to determine whether that max move should be positive or negative. So if the current X exceeds where we should be, we need to go minus. So if we take those two values and we have where we are and where we should be, I believe the formula is if you take the where you are and minus the where you should be. I'm sorry, where you should be minus where you are is what it is. So we're going to go ahead and take AX minus self.x, and we're going to say if that is greater than 0. Yep, that's correct. So if that is greater than 0, as in that we still need to move further to the right, then we're going to say self.x plus equals max move, and then we're going to say else, we'll say minus equals max move. Okay, but before we do that, we're going to actually say move equals max move, and then we're going to say, we need to say on top of this, if the distance between where you are and where you should be is less than the max move value, then we need to reduce that so that it just goes right to where it should and it stops trying to move, so you don't get this little jittery effect. Okay, so what we are going to do is we're going to say if we're going to take this value here, we're going to say that ABS for absolute value is greater than, or I'm sorry, is less than move, then move equals that distance dot ABS. Okay, so now we've got that, and now we just need to put just move down here. And now we're just going to take all of that code, we're just going to copy it. I guess all we need is just this inner code here. We're going to paste that under the Y section. And rather than AX, we're going to use AY, self.y, X, Y. believe we've got everything. So let's just go ahead and check that now and see how that works. Syntax error. Oh, missed the open parenthesis on that. There's one. Since I copied it, of course. Alrighty. Okay, so it looks like it's moving. Oh, we caused a jitter when it goes up. It doesn't seem to like it. See, that's what I was talking about, that kind of jitter. But hey, we don't like the jitter, do we? So let's try to fix it. It was on the Y. Why is it doing that? Because I was special. That's why. Put the parenthesis in the wrong spot. There we go. Okay, now, is it too slow? In my opinion, yes. So all you have to do now, because we set that all up to be just magic numbers and so on, all we have to do is just come up here and we have to update that value, and now it'll move faster. And it'll automatically has the code in there in order to say, well, if you move too far, then automatically come back, etc. And there you have it. So it looks like it's working good there. So we're probably good to go. If you want to, you can increase that number as much as you want to make it as fast or slow as you want. I'm thinking faster simply because I like it to just zip around the screen, but I want to see it move. There we go. I like 15. So that's where we're going to leave it. As for right now, I didn't end up getting into the command stuff, so we're going to get into that next time. So hopefully this was an informative tutorial for you, so we will catch you guys next time. On a separate note, our game rally over at Creation Asylum has recently come to a close. So right now we are on the voting stages of the contest, and there is a prize for $50 to the winner. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is go over there, play all of those games, because there's 8 different games for you to play. Play each of them, vote for your favorite so that that person can get their $50, and of course next time submit your game, and we'll catch you guys next time. I'll go ahead and provide the link down here into the description below. Otherwise, go ahead and leave me some comments, and we'll talk to you guys later. See ya.